Hello everyone, Mr. E here, and welcome to the new veteran talent tree. Now this is, as I understand, a temporary fix for the talent tree, kind of a stopgap measure. It's gonna see future changes, but hey, this is what we got for right now. Who knows how long it'll be till the next changes go out, but you know, what they've done here is they recontextualized a lot of abilities by positioning them differently, by giving them different interconnectivity, and by buffing some of the lower performing ones and just kind of feeling out where they're at. But they intend on greater changes in the future for this tree, as well as for the Psyker, and as I understand it, I think they actually intend greater changes for the Zealot as well. So we can look forward to many more additions of whatever this is, where I talk about all the talents. And in this video, I'm not going to be doing my classic talent tier list where I'm ranking all of them. I'm just going to talk about where they're at and how they might have changed, how the positioning is better or worse than it was before. Just kind of trying to keep it shorter, just so you get an overview, so you can know what to anticipate and know what abilities do if you haven't looked at the tree before. Okay, so with that being said, remember to like and subscribe if you like Darktide content, you want to hear more of me, you want me to exist in this YouTube space for longer, and comment and let me know if there's any specific thing you want me to make a video or content about in the future, because there's going to be so much Darktide stuff coming out for the rest of the year. I won't know which way to turn, and hopefully you can help sort of guide me towards the promised land. All right, let's get underway here. We're starting at the top, and these have all been repositioned. This is a new little dodecahedron, or whatever we're calling this, that has a bunch of new, well, not new, most of these talents are the same old talents they ever were. In fact, I don't know if there's any new talents in the tree, but they are all toughness stuff up here. So exhilarating takedown, it's a flat toughness plus toughness damage reduction, stacking 3 times on elite or, sorry, no, just range weak spot kill. Just getting any range weak spot kill, even on a trash enemy, which is pretty easy to do. Confirm kill is the elite or specialist one. Flat toughness and then toughness over time, which is great. These two together make you very tanky against ranged attacks or just any attacks. Out for blood is another great one. Lots of winners up here at the top. This gives you 5% additional toughness regen on all kills. So like a grenade that goes into 10 enemies is 50% toughness instantly. You know, pretty good stuff here, and great for the versatile build that wants both melee and range, because this counts for all of those effects. Tactical reload, 25% reload if your weapon contains ammo. One motion has been buffed from 25 to 50% weapon spot speed. This, I tested it out on another build that I'll be releasing probably tomorrow. The build that you're currently seeing is one I'm going to release right after this video. But this is very noticeable. 50% weapon swap speed is very noticeable compared to that 25% where you're like, it feels a little bit faster. Covering fire is a purely support ability. Doesn't apply to you, but it gives your allies 15% toughness instantly and 15% base damage for 3 seconds when you kill an enemy close to him with a range attack. Not bad, right? Not bad at all. Long shot has been buffed a lot. This used to give like very tiny amounts of damage, because what was happening was the minimum range was non-existent. You would do like 1% extra damage to anything within 10 feet of you, and now you do 10% range damage all the time, and then it can scale up to 25%, and that maximum distance is now 30 meters. I swear that used to be like 60 meters or something crazy like that. So you almost never got the full bonus before, and now you can definitely get it. Volley Adept. I love Volley Adept. It works really well for big weapons that have long reloads, like the bolter, the revolver, those sorts of stuff, where like you're definitely gonna get an elite kill somewhere with your shooting, and then you get a reload, you get a huge boost in reload speed. 30% reload speed is big, and it's nice and easy to pick up now because it's right next to some obvious choices for range attackers. They're definitely leaning into talents that make the veteran a better range attacker, which I'm all for. Come down here, Close Order Drill is now a guaranteed pickup. That is if you want to continue to like actually build out your talent tree. Then we have a free choice of grenades. The only thing you'll lock yourself out of by choosing any given grenade is these minor nodes here, but you can cross all the way over on either direction, so that's good. The grenades have been changed a little bit. Crack Grenade now has 3 charges instead of 2 charges. There might have been some other changes with him. I'll need to do further testing on my own to explore this, but as far as the past notes they've given me, the Crack Grenade just has 1 extra charge, which is just, you know, that's a really, really big buff to the crack grenade. That brings it back a lot. Now, the shredder frag grenade is as good as it's ever been. The smoke grenade is also as good as it's ever been, which is questionable. Down here, we've got reload speed, toughness, and movement speed, which you can like grab more than one of if you really want, because they're on a horizontal line. Like 15 toughness isn't half bad for a minor node, but reload speed is the one I chose for this build. But I could have done this, right? It's a lot of options here, as you can see. Superiority complex over here, 15% base damage to elite enemies, awesome talent. Iron Will, another awesome talent. We've all loved this one for our, you know, the existence of veteran. Trench fighter drill with 10% melee attack speed is over here. Note that no matter where you go, you can pick up all of these. Right, if you come down the center, you can go this way. If you come all the way over here, you can go all the way across it because it's all in a straight line. Then we've got field improvisation here, which is just another great node that a lot of builds were locked out of because it was in line with the shout ability before. Not that anyone was playing anything but shout, but like the other two types of abilities weren't taking this because it was nowhere near their stuff. So now you just get it in most builds. You can go around it though. If you go straight down on the sides here, you can go from trench fighter drill to serrated blade, which is now much more accessible than it was before for 2 stacks of bleeds. That's actually pretty nice. You know, that allows you to stack lots of bleeds. And then we got covert operative. I can't really imagine a build that's going to get a whole lot of use at ranged backstab attacks. Most of the time shooting at enemies makes them face you, but hey, maybe you'll be more creative than I am. Opening salvo, 20%. The first 20% ammo after reload, it's a 10% range critical chance, and then get back in the fight, the same thing that it's always been. You get some stun immunity, slow immunity, and restore some stamina when your toughness is broken. Okay, coming down here, here's Catch Your Breath, right? I'm glad that they did this because like talents like Close Order Drill and Catch Your Breath before were like pretty much guaranteed pickups, right? They're like 1 point investments and they're so stupid strong. So this is just going to give veterans 5% of the toughness every second forever when they haven't been hit by a melee attack in the last 5 seconds. That's all veterans will have that now. And that's good for veterans, obviously. The other thing veterans are getting, which I forgot to mention at the top, is they are now suppression immune. So you'll actually notice when we get down here, there used to be a suppression immunity ability, gone, because the veteran is now 100% suppression immune, which makes him a much better gunfighter, which is awesome. We now have a free choice of auras. Just like we're doing with all these class reworks, any aura can go with any ability. So now if someone else is already running Survivalist, you can choose one of the other two. As I said before, I think they're coming back later to revamp these others because these are still the exact same as it's ever been. Survivalist is still probably the best one in like 90% of cases, but if you got someone else who's already running it, you can run one of the other two with no penalty to your build at all. Then you come down here, and here is those 3 grenade perks that used to be spread all over the tree. Now they're all right next to each other. There used to be 4 grenade perks, but now there's only 3 because what they did is they wrapped 2 different grenade perks, the additional grenade and twinned blast, into one perk called Grenadier. Now you can carry 1 extra grenade, and you get that twin blast, 20% chance to throw an additional effect, all in one little package there, which could be very nice, right? I've always had that opinion that the twin blast effect on its own, that 20% random grenade, was very weak, but with an extra grenade size pocket, you know, our BDs has shown us how powerful that sort of effect is. So yeah, definitely a good node. Now, Grenade Tinkerer saw a slight change. I believe Crack Grenade used to be 50% damage and is now 75% damage, so not bad. And of course, Demolition Stockpile. Ye old faithful here. 1 grenade every 60 seconds, obviously. Okay, now we're here with the abilities. We're going to be ignoring Voice of Command. Literally saw no changes. Yay, you know, Voice of Command still is going to be the meta. It's still the strongest ability here, but hey, they're making steps to bring these other two in closer. The one that has made bigger steps here is Executioner's Stance. You know, the classic veteran ability where you get the wall hacks, you shoot the enemies in the head, bing, bang, boom. You go like Rudy Tooty Shooty, like it's like Time Crisis or something at the arcade. And this ability now gives you an additional 10% toughness regeneration every single second. And you get 20 for all the stuff you always used to get, right? Reduce recoil and all that stuff. Now, this ability is pretty strong with that effect incorporated in it, because this ability can be extended infinitely. As long as you are killing one enemy that is highlighted every 5 seconds or however long the reset is for you, then you're just going to continue getting that 10% toughness every second, which is good. It allows you to weather some of the incoming damage. It allows you to stand in gas and tank the gas and murder enemies too. So this, even if you're out of ammo now, is a good thing to activate because it gives you 50% of your toughness over the next 5 seconds. Not bad at all. Now we do have some of these little add-ons here. Enhanced target priority, same thing as it's ever been. Highlights it for your team. I don't really love this one. I do love counterfire. Highlights all those small targets for you, the little shooters, the annoying guys. Makes you able to see exactly which little box they're hiding behind, waiting for you to walk by, not be paying attention, and then take out 90% of your HP. So this is like an automatic take on Havoc, I feel like. Then the bigger they are, this was always my problem with this ability, is that, like, why would you take an ability that highlights Ogrins? You can already see Ogrins, and there's not very many Ogrins to reset off of. You don't get any damage bonuses versus the highlighted targets, so it's literally just highlighting them so that you can get that refresh. So yeah, it highlights them, but what it does is it makes the duration of your of the like refresh duration 8 seconds instead of 5. So you have longer to actually get that reset because there's less targets in your environment to get that reset on. And it highlights Ogrins and Captains and Monstrosities now instead of just those Ogrin types, which is good. Okay, but I still think Counterfire is the best. Okay, coming over here, Infiltrate. Infiltrate saw a very slight change. I don't think it's going to be enough to really bring it into the meta, but hey, every little bit helps, I guess. What they did is they incorporated one of its 4 nodes that it previously had, the 30% damage during and after stealth, into the ability itself. So now you just get 30% extra damage while you're in stealth and for 5 seconds after you leave stealth. Which means you could do something like, you know, bleed an enemy up with serrated blade, go into stealth and watch them bleed for 5 seconds, come out with another hit that's boosted by, watch them bleed for 8 seconds because you have 8 seconds of stealth, come out with a strong attack that is boosted by 30%, and then for the next 5 seconds you got 30% extra damage. You know, I don't know if it's going to be the best way to fight because this ability still has that 45-second base cooldown, which really sucks. I was really hoping they would reduce that and make it more usable. We still have the same old augments here, low profile, Overwatch, and Hunter's Resolve. They saw no changes from where they were previously, so I still think this is going to be his weakest ability. Okay, coming down here into the bottom trees, we did see some rework to how these are laid out and repositionings. Over here, huge melee damage boost, right? 15% melee damage in one little node. My jaw dropped. Well, not literally. I did a double take though when I saw this. I was like, wait, hold on a second. 15% melee damage for a minor node? What is this? The Arbites? This is the melee tree now. You're going to do a lot of melee damage on Veteran if you're taking this tree, which is good because they just added a new Veteran weapon, the Power Falchion. So very cool to get 15% melee damage right off the top for no requirements at all. Then we've got Reciprocity, which has always been super strong. You know, this is a nice free pick. It can stack up to 25% crit. Close quarters kill zone. I love that these aren't like, you know, the stupid pathing here before irritated the hell out of me. Now that you can choose on these, it's great because like Reciprocity is great with certain builds and not with others. Same with Duck and Dive, and sometimes both of them are good at the same time. Desperado is good if you're going for these melee focused builds. Melee crit chance and melee finesse bonus, mwah, very powerful talent for melee fighters. Then we've got Agile Engagement, a great place for this to be, right over the top of the Weapon Specialist Keystone. Going to be swapping back and forth, getting a big boost to damage. You could also go for Skirmisher if you're looking to close that distance, stacking up to 25% base damage, not bad. We also get 25 toughness boost in the middle here, so if you don't want either of these and you just want to get some flat toughness, that could be your path down here. Onslaught is located down here as well, so like this is where your now brittleness is going to go. So I think what they got tired of was like every like rapid fire build just taking Onslaught in every single time, so they moved it all the way down here. So you do have to invest a little bit if you want to get to it. Exploit Weakness is a new talent though, guys. This is a new talent, brand new. Melee critical hits increase your damage by 20% for 6 seconds. So we've already grabbed ourselves an additional 10% melee crit chance here. This could be up to 25% crit chance, and now we're getting a crit damage boost overall, a very sizable one for 6 seconds. Like this is as powerful as a blessing is on weapons, which is crazy. So this can be a very, very good one if you're going for a melee focused bet. And then we've got Weapon Specialist. As far as I can tell, nothing has changed here. This is the exact same Weapon Specialist there's already been. I didn't expect any changes because this was always the best keystone. So going back to the center here, we got 1 stamina, and then we got a choice. Born Leader. Born Leader got a big buff. This used to be 15% of any toughness that you replenish, and that was it. But now it also raises your coherency radius by 50%, which is huge because now this means that allies can be much farther away from you and replenish that toughness, and it means that your voice of command golds enemies or allies that are 50% farther away, which is big, right? Have you ever had that one ally who never wanted to get quite close enough to get the gold, and you're like, you dumbass, like what the hell? Now you're gonna get hit by a burster and die, and sure enough he does. Now you don't have to get close to him at all. You can shot him with this. Leave no one behind, another great place for this to be, right? It's completely optional. It's not off in one random side of the tree. This is a revive speed, and you can move faster when you go towards them. I don't really love these like come from behind perks, right? I don't feel like you need this, but hey, it's something, right? They put it here, and then they put two way better talents around it, so no one's gonna choose this. Demolition Team, S tier, right? Crazy good talent. 5% of all elite or specialist kills by your whole team are converted into into grenades, and this combined with this, when you have that extra coherency radius, this is going to give you more grenades because those enemies, those allies count as in your coherency when they're even further away. Tactical awareness, big nerf though. This is the biggest loser in the entire tree. That 6 seconds flat cooldown before, I think they realized it was a little bit silly because what was happening was people were shouting, immediately getting a kill on a special or something. They were dropping their cooldown to 23 seconds or 22 seconds or whatever, and then turning around and getting another specialist kill, and now their cooldown is at like 0 seconds, and they're just shouting all day long. So they've reduced this. They've cut the effective cooldown reduction in half, and they made it worse because it happens over 3 seconds instead of happening instantly. So when you kill a specialist, you have to wait 3 seconds to kill another one. If you kill another specialist in that same time, it's not going to stack. What it's going to do is it's going to refresh the timer. It's going to start another timer and just do it again. So if you see 2 specialists, kill one, wait 3 seconds, kill something else, and then kill that second specialist. Then you'll get the maximum amount of cooldown out of it. I think it's fine though, because like veteran abilities, generally stupid short cooldowns, right? 30 seconds, 30 seconds. They don't need it. This one needs it, but you know, it's fucked. So who cares? Rending strikes, 10% rending to all weapons. Competitive urge. These didn't see any changes, and I kind of wish they did. These are weird talents. Like, this is not enough rending to make itself its own node. I don't feel like in this day and age. Get ready to get barked at. And then right in the middle, we got the 25 toughness boost. Thank you, buddy. This used to be 10% toughness or coherency regeneration, which was like just a completely dead node. That was back when they didn't have the talent trees completely done for the keystones. But now, if you don't want either of these, which in most cases I don't, just 25 flat toughness, which is big for this class. Then bring it down, same as it's always been, 20% damage to Ogres and monstrosities. Down at the bottom here, focus target, seeing a big upgrade here. It used to grant you a stack of focus target every was it 2 seconds? I think it was 2 seconds, and it stacked up to 5 times in your backpack or like in your wallet of focus target charges. So you'd take 10 seconds to stack this thing all the way up, and when you applied it to a target, it would give them 4% damage taken for each stack. So you'd have to take 10 seconds to apply it to an enemy, and then the enemy would have effectively 20% increased damage taken. Now it stacks every 1.5 seconds and only has 4 stacks. So we've gone from a 10-second full stack charge to a 6-second full stack charge, which is massive. And you start at 1 stack, so you only need to stack 4.5 seconds worth, which is massive as well. So yeah, we're getting a big increase to the usability of focus target, and this also means you can just kind of spam it around because, like, you get 5% damage on a target isn't nothing, or you can wait for a boss or something instead of waiting around for 8 seconds for your stupid stacks to stack up for that. Now you're only waiting 4 seconds basically, and then you can throw that on a boss and get 20% damage, or you can get up to 6 stacks, which means that is going to make this target take 30% additional damage. This is going to be a crazy thing that everyone's going to want to have in Havoc, because 30% additional damage taken by a target is stupid. It's stupid big. Like, that's huge. And then with an enemy you have tagged dies, grant 2% damage for each stack of focus target applied. So that could be between 8 and 12% damage to you and all allies at coherency for 10 seconds. That's going to be much easier to keep up because these are charging so much faster. Target down is the same thing as it always was, 5% toughness and 5% stamina for each stack applied, which is also going to be easier to keep up because those stacks are coming back so much faster. So good improvement to the focus target. Then over here on the left, we've got Precision Strikes, Marksman, and Deadshot. Now, these are very powerful talents, and I love that they put them all like right here together. There's so much more talents you can choose now. When I made my builds earlier today, a couple of builds, I didn't feel nearly as limited as I was before, and that's because they removed so many minor nodes. So I was able to choose all this stuff, and I was like, oh boy. Precision Strike's always as crazy, as good as it's ever been. Marksman's focus is like sleeper OP, but people don't know that it's just multiplying all their damage by 1.2 when they're getting headshots for that 10-second after an ability. So that's going to be like a perfect pairing with Executioners and Voice of Command now. Deadshot, just, you know, it's just has perfect synergies with certain weapons, and then just sucks or doesn't work with other weapons. So it's a take it or leave it sort of talent. Fully loaded, you have to pick it up in all builds, and keep their heads down now is a 75% range suppression and move from somewhere over in this area. Now, it used to be 50% range suppression. Suppression is kind of a weird talent in this game, so that could be really good, though, with, like, you know, higher suppression things like the bolter, or rather the bolt pistol, because it gets every enemy to cower, and that allows you to close the distance. So not too bad, right? But it is competing with either stamina regeneration delay or 10% toughness damage reduction. I love what they did here, because I don't like suppression effects. I'd rather have the enemies shoot at me and me dodge their attacks and them stand perfectly still while they're shooting, than have them cowering and like rolling all over the ground, because it makes them easier for me to actually like shoot and deal with. I know what they're going to do until they start cowering and running all over the place. Now Shock Trooper is over here. So Shock Trooper requires a little bit more investment to get to, because you have to go through the stamina regeneration delay node here, which is fine, because Shock Trooper was stupid powerful before. It probably did need a little bit of a nerf, so they moved it over here, and they gave it 1 extra point of investment required. Kill Zone down here, another 15% range base damage. So if you're going for like heavy hitting single shots, or like just general like direct damage, you've got 15% range damage here, and you've got 15% range damage here, right? Or just any damage here. So we're talking big damages. And then they brought something over from the lovely Arbites class, Lock and Load, 15% clip size rounded up. So triple barrel shotgun is available on the veteran now, as is 6 shots in a revolver. What a shock. I've never heard of that before. Lots of cool ideas like that are available with Lock and Load. And so we finally come to Marksman's Focus. Marksman's Focus saw one big change that has revolutionized the keystone down here. Some people are saying that the problem with Marksman's Focus before was that you couldn't move. It literally would strip all your stacks away from you if you moved one pinky toe out of where you're currently standing, but they removed that penalty. So now you keep your stacks while you're running around, running and gunning, and you get those stacks only by getting headshot kills. It used to give you range weak spot kills, rather. It used to only give you 1 stack if you got like a range weak spot hit, and then 3 if you got a range weak spot kill, I believe. And that was stupid, because people would just use like their Uzis and just run up and spray at the head level, and then they would immediately max out the stacks. And that was the only way to really use it. But now that you can run and gun, you can plink an enemy, and these only fall off 1 stack at a time every 5 seconds. So when you get this stacked up to 10 stacks, it takes 50 seconds to lose all those stacks. Pretty easy to keep it up. Pretty easy to get at least 1 kill every couple of seconds. Then Long Range Assassin down here can increase those stacks to 15, and then we can also get 15% rending when you're over 10% or 10 stacks of focus. And Tunnel Vision is also going to give you additional toughness replenishment for each stack. Toughness replenishment meaning, like, you know, if normally you would get 10% toughness from this and 20% over time, now with a 40% increase, you'll get 14% toughness and additional 28% over time, which is good. And you get stamina back. So there's a synergy between this and this right here with Deadshot. And these are also no longer mutually exclusive, because I believe there was mutual exclusivity between some of these before, and it made 0 sense. And that is the whole veteran talent tree, my fine friends. There's a lot to explore here. There's going to be a lot of builds coming out in the coming days. Just, you know, exploring every facet of this and finding the new efficiencies. I think that, you know, Voice of Command will continue to be the oppressively powerful thing that it is, but this breathes new life in Executioner's stance. So look forward to seeing this build very soon. Look forward to seeing other builds from me very soon, and like and subscribe and all that stuff. And thanks for watching. I'm getting out of here. Bye bye.